I don't build engines all the time anymore anyway. So this one, I'm using my trusty dusty Haynes manual, and I'm going to clock the pistons according to this diagram and go ahead and insert them with a ring compressor, which is this guy. Whew. This basically goes around the piston. This compresses all of the rings and then allows you to slide it into the engine. You'll see that here in just a few minutes. Get one of these clocked according to this diagram. According to this diagram, front of engine, that's what the arrow goes towards, and number 1 ring gap, you want to put that over here, so that is this way. Let's put the book down. Number 1 gap, number 2 is all the way over on 180 degrees away, and gap of upper side rail goes over here, and then the gap of the lower rail over here. Basically everything's 180 degrees off. And the spacer ring they want you to put over here, the gap in the spacer. So I'm going to do that. Okay, this one is set up. Okay, make sure you get all your rings positioned correctly, because once you put this in there, that's it. That is it. You won't know if they're off or not. Okay, I'm going to start with a clean rag. Should probably actually do this with WD-40. This is just getting the machining oil off. Okay, arrow facing front. Truth be told, I had a really hard time getting these pistons in. The rings kept coming out of the piston ring compressor before they got into the bore of the block. So this took me a while. I ended up getting them all done, but boy, what a pain in the butt that was. So you have to really be careful getting these in the bores so you don't break a ring. That is the last of the pistons. They're all in. I didn't want to show you all that because it would have been a long, boring video, and I didn't want to show you any of the mistakes I made. So they're all in. It's good to go, and I'm just finishing up the connecting rods. making sure the bearing is still in place and that the new one gets plenty of lube. And for now, I'm going to make sure that I'm just going to put the bolts in here to hold them until I get new connecting rod bolts and new main cap bolts. I'll show you here in a second. This is what is known as the rotating assembly. And I've just barely got these bolts on. Not really even snug. Just to keep them on. So these are your main caps. I got to get new bolts for those, probably studs with nuts from ARP. And these are your connecting rod caps. These are the factory ones. I'll probably go ahead and replace those. So it's always cool to get your engine together somewhat and be able to see everything turn inside. That's pretty neat. Nothing's binding. You don't want anything binding in here. If you can't turn it all the way, then you've got something wrong. Very good. So I thought I'd show you the difference between the old piston and the new pistons. This is the new piston. It's for a supercharged engine. It's got a deeper dish in the center, and that is for a little bit lower compression because you are going to have much more boost or air pressure in the chamber. Therefore it can hold a little bit more volume, keep the compression down to where you can run it on pump gas. This other piston has a much shallower dish, and that is static compression right there. It is what it is. No boost, that's all you're going to get. It's fixed. It's always cool when you get this together and you can turn it and see your engine stand do that.